What's up, you guys? This is your girl Megan. Welcome back to the Hood Astro Queen, to all of my returning subscribers. But if this is your first time on my channel today, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way in. Also, click that notification bell. That way, you'll be alerted whenever I make a post. And real quick, I wanted to do a video on Ciara. Now, this is kind of like a revamped version of my initial Ciara and Russell Wilson synastry reading. And in this particular video, I'm going to just be discussing Ciara in and of herself as really, I mean, I don't trust Ciara. And I believe I said that in my last video. And because we live in a culture where if you say something that contradicts the public narrative, people literally like jump on you and they treat you like, you know what I'm saying, you're just out here killing baby kittens. And I mean, the reaction that I got from my Ciara and Russell Wilson video was so crazy. And normally I have pretty thick skin in the respect that, like, okay, if people say something that's just too out of line, I'll block you, but I'm not about to cry over it. I'm like, it's like I don't lose sleep over it. It's not that deep. But the comments, it was so much. It was so much, y'all. But you know what? I took the post down. I'm back. I'm prepared mentally. I'm prepared. And I think because it was like my first post that people really disagree with. But there will be plenty of more of those to come, you know, just because I am who I am. So I'm just, at this point, it is what it is, you know. And I want to preface this video by saying I don't know Ciara as a person. And to be quite honest, what I have known of her as an artist, I actually enjoyed. So this is not Megan having like a secret vendetta against Ciara and I'm committed to this narrative of her being a bad person. I mean, and this is all speculative on my part, and let me say that. So, allegedly. And also for the record, I hate Future because that was another comment people said, oh, you're just doing this because, oh, Future, but Future is trash. Like, I don't even understand what Future has to do with this. So, yeah, the premise of this video is based on the fact that I feel like I just don't trust Ciara. And let's just break it down from an astrological perspective, okay? So Ciara was born on October 25th, 1985 in Austin, Texas, okay? Which makes her a Scorpio sun, Pisces moon, and her Scorpio sun is actually conjoined to her Mercury, her Saturn, and also her South Node. And her Juno. And you know your Astro Juno deals with your relationships. So let me break this down, okay? Scorpio South Nodes. Because your South Node dictates your early life patterns, your past life experiences, so to speak. Scorpio South Nodes tend to have a very, very dicey, sketchy upbringing. And this could come from a couple of things. This could be because, or this could result in a very traumatic upbringing because a lot of Scorpio South Nodes do encounter some of the more darker parts of life. And that's just honest. And this could be by way of abuse, by way of just, you know, growing up in a very just troublesome, problematic home in some way. But with Scorpio dealing with death, rebirth, but also dealing with things that are extraordinary and even manipulative and secret, you know, or that are done in secret. Scorpio South Nodes, just as a comfort zone, tend to resort to all of these traits in order to get what they want from other people. Because Scorpio does deal with other people, primarily other people's money. You might be able to tell where I'm going with this, but you know, and especially with her Juno here, to me, and her Mercury's at the 22nd degree of Scorpio, and that 22 deals with situations where whether you're either controlling somebody or you're being controlled, which really falls in line with this theme here of like the Scorpio South Node. And with it being conjoined to her Juno, it could absolutely point or paint out a person who is very manipulative and controlling in their relationships, very methodical in the way that they acquire these relationships. And like I said, who can resort to like power plays, manipulation. Somebody who, with your, North Node being in Taurus, right? Scorpio South Nodes have a karmic duty to conform to the status quo and to be very much about hard work, putting in their own work in their own right, and kind of accumulating and establishing their own sense of self-worth and even their own money, generating their own money. Now, another critique I got in my last video was, Ciara not broke. She's not broke. Okay, well, I'm not saying, and anytime we're talking about celebrities and their lack of money, quote unquote, I mean, I've always thought that it was just, common sense to assume celebrity broke ain't my broke. It's not your broke. It's not, I'm down to my last $5. Let's go to Wendy's and get a fo type of broke, okay? I don't think Ciara was ever on Section 8. However, 1-2 step is only going to carry you but so far, all right? And she has been rumored and alleged to have dated many men within the industry. And all of these men were, you can argue their status, right? Even though Bow Wow is a square currently, during the time she was dating him, he was not. He was actually he had his respectability level was kind of decent. He was like a teenager. Maybe he had outgrown the little Bow Wow phase, but he wasn't whack ass Bow Wow that we know today. And then there was 50 Cent. And then there was Future, of course, during his A game. And here we are with Russell Wilson, who has recently signed a deal to become one of the highest paid football player in the NFL, period. Is that a coincidence? I think not. So that's just really what it is. And Scorpio is also about, like I said, that methodical, very calculative way of being, right? Very intentional, and I would even say crafty. And follow me on this. So, after Ciara broke up with Future, we would see them out, and them being Ciara and Russell, out in the public and, on the outside looking in, right? And especially as somebody who's a single mother myself, I'm all for the whole concept of you leaving a loser, right? A loser, lean, sipping, pill popping narcissist, and getting with a man who is this cookie cutter guy, all around great dad, takes in your child, loves you, and you guys ride off into the sunset. I'm all for it. I have no issues with that whatsoever. But I started to notice little things. And this is before I even looked at her chart, but I kind of brushed it to the side. But now that I'm, after looking at her natal chart, it made sense. Particularly her being a Scorpio South Node. Ciara would be in certain positions to where, and keep in mind, she was best friends with Kim Kardashian. And the Kardashians have been known to call the paparazzis on themselves. And this is something that Future said, that even though Future is a hot mess, I literally take his opinions with a grain of salt, but even a broken clock is correct at least twice a day. But what he said was that, when she was photographed with Russell Wilson, I think this was the first picture that came out of them walking with baby Future, that she had actually called the paparazzi on herself. And that resonated with me, like I said, because when you look at her history of the people that she hung with, Ciara, even after her 1-2 step years kind of faded, she became this socialite. And in order to be this socialite, there are certain rules that a lot of these Hollywood celebrities and these elites kind of exist around and abide by. And one of those is drawing attention to yourself at any cost. And another thing I noticed that kind of fell in line with this was the fact that, yes, I get it. You can show, I mean, it's your business. You can show you love your significant other anywhere, anyhow, any place. I mean, I guess that's your prerogative. But it just got to a point where it felt like her displays of affection with Russell seemed very disingenuous. And maybe I'm the only one who sees this, but it kind of feels a little fake and forced. Because most celebrities, even the ones who are a little bit more open with their relationship, it's like, they like to keep certain things for themselves, or there's a certain level of like organic chemistry that you see that I can't even really put my finger on it, but it's just like, okay, wow, okay, cool. There are two people who genuinely love each other. With Ciara and Russell, like they're uploading videos all on their Facebook, she'll upload videos of her and her kids, and it almost feels forced. Like before she started recording, she told the kids, okay, say this, do that, say this, do that. And it's just weird. It's weird. It rubs me the wrong way. And seeing that she's a Scorpio South Node, Scorpio South Nodes are very calculating. And even though Future is actually a Scorpio Sun, and FYI, that was just destined to fail. Those lunar nodal relationships just in synastry are a hot mess, okay? Simply because the two people might feel very close, but ultimately, they bring out the worst in each other. And I do feel like Future brought out a lot of that dark-sided Scorpio energy in Ciara, because he's very manipulative, right? But in the process, especially right after they broke up, right? That period after they broke up, I feel like it caused Ciara to really like dwell within that Scorpionic South Node of like, even when they were taking each other to court back and forth, right? I feel like she was very, very methodical and very intentional on the things she did. And all of this even includes getting in another relationship. Now, do I feel like her relationship with Russell has other components, right, that exist independent of her relationship with Future? Of course I do. Okay. But do I think a lot of it was founded on her trying to craft this, I can do better. I can do better about my self-image and trying to get back at Future thing? Yeah, I do. And that's once again right in line with their Scorpio South Node. And the more planets that are actually conjoined to your South Node, especially if you have something like your own sun being conjoined to your South Node, because your sun is your ego. It's your claim to fame. It's where you feel the most, it's where you gain your pride from, It can be very difficult to divorce yourself from that South Node. And to a degree, that South Node is always going to come into play. And especially with her, once again, Sun, Pluto, and Mercury. Pluto can join the South Node. I mean, Scorpio is naturally governed by Pluto. However, this could create somebody who is extremely chaotic, somebody who is extremely just over the top, possessive and jealous, and like I said, vindictive, and I mean, all of those dark-sided, seedy-ass scorpionic traits. Also very secretive. And, it's no coincidence also with her Juno being conjoined to this loaded-ass South Node. There are a lot of secrets within her marriage that we don't know anything about, right? And people like to create this, relationship goals culture. And I touched on this in my Aisha and Steph Curry video. But that shit is bullshit. Especially when I'm looking at these people's charts and I'm like, okay, something's not right. Something is not right. Ciara's sun is conjoined to her Pluto, which could deal with her dealing with very powerful men, but it can also make her a very, just a very dominant kind of presence herself. It can make her somebody who is very I don't want to say aggressive, but very controlling. It once again, just like this reoccurring theme of control. Also, her Jupiter is in Aquarius, and that's a money, a money placement right there. Jupiter in Aquarius, at the 7th degree to be exact, and it's squaring her North Node. And with Taurus dealing with conformity, like I said, doing the work and securing your own bag and your own sense of self-worth and values, it can deal with her marrying or being with a rich man to the point where she never really has to activate that Taurus North Node, because she's kind of always entitled, and that's the Aquarian energy, because she feels entitled to other people's money, and that's what Scorpio deals with: other people's stuff, other people's assets, that 8th house energy. So there is that. But then also, her Chiron is at the 13th degree of Gemini. And in the natal chart, Chiron points towards where you feel like exceptions should be made for your behavior, or areas of your life where you're relentless, obstinate, and just unwilling to compromise. But then also, it can point towards areas in your life where you're uncompromising and just flat out dysfunctional. So, with her being a Chiron Gemini person, there's automatically this theme of duplicity, her being one way or appearing to be one way when she's another. But then also with Chiron or Gemini rather, being the mouthpiece, her, there's a sense of like disingenuity. Is that a word? Disingenuity? Something disingenuous about the way she communicates, about how she expresses herself. Gemini deals with the media, right? About the way that she presents herself to the media. And particularly with her Chiron opposing her Uranus, she could be a flat out trickster. And Uranus does deal with social media as well, the internet. So once again, just reinforcing this theme of like things with her not being the way that they appear. Also, not for nothing, Russell Wilson, I think he's a Sagittarius sun. So her Chiron is opposing his sun, which in synastry can deal with a dysfunctional marriage. Okay, so and maybe their marriage is just honey, roses, and oats. Well, no, I take that back, because I know it's not honey, roses, and oats. But, I'm not saying that they don't care for each other. I don't know, but once again, based just sheerly and purely off of these aspects, certain aspects that play in her chart, and between the both of them, to be quite honest, I don't trust it. Okay? Her Venus is forming a quincunx to her North Node. She's a Libra Venus, with her Venus at the 11th degree. And that number 11 deals with challenges. And basically what this aspect points towards is, with her being in a relationship, she's pretty much going to, it's going to be difficult for her to unlock that Taurus North Node, because there's this sense of, because Libra deals with relationships, right? There's this sense of her, once again, feeling entitled to other people's money. So she doesn't even really feel the need to get out there and do the work for herself, or build a sense of value for herself. So that's just, I don't know, it's weird. It's really weird. Her Black Moon Lilith is conjoined to her North Node in Taurus at the 16th degree. The number 16 deals with catastrophe. And this could produce somebody who is, even if she does jump into that Taurus North Node, she's going to be very superficial, very much, about the status quo, very much just a person who is all about appearances and the way things look. And It's just, and even Black Moon Lilith in Taurus has a shadow side. Dark side Taurus has a shadow side. And it's just, y'all, her sun as well as her entire south node is forming a sextile to her Neptune, which is at the first degree of Capricorn, which can absolutely deal with her being the type of person to have secrets, and it conveys her successfully, like, withholding parts of her marriage, parts of her identity, things behind the scenes from the public. It can even deal with conspiracies. So yeah, this is not Megan being a hater. It's just literally what's at play. Y'all drop down in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. How do you feel? And until next time, make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And as always, I holla.